What are some of your favorite music venues across the country?
Joe's Live, House of Blues.
930 Club in Washington, D.C. is one of my all-time favorites.
I'm standing on my favorite venue, which is at Fitzgerald's nightclub.
Independent music venues are some of the hardest hit businesses during the pandemic. As the first to close and last to open, many in the music industry are worried about whether their stages can survive the lengthy closures, continuing expenses, and massive revenue losses.
There's a lot of just like legendary venues that are really in danger right now. You know, like places that like Nirvana played and the Ramones played.
The biggest question I get is, what are you going to do? And I've tried to answer that question for months with some type of creative response, but the reality is that there's not much we can do besides sit and wait.
We did a survey of NEVA members a couple of months ago and found that if the shutdown lasts 6 months or longer and there's no significant federal help, 90% of NEVA members said that they will go out of business entirely.
NEVA is the National Independent Venue Association, and it's lobbying lawmakers with the Save Our Stages movement to establish grant programs and tax credits for struggling venues unable to survive on existing small business support programs. As a national organization, NEVA is unprecedented itself.
This association didn't even exist until the pandemic. And now we have 2,000 members, venues across the country in all 50 states and Washington, D.C.
The movement is finding support from both sides of the aisle, and that's because the issue affects local economies as much as it does the music industry. Last year, a survey from the Chicago Loop Alliance found that each dollar spent on a ticket generated another $12 for local businesses. Outside of the U.S., the UK government has already approved almost $3 million to support English music venues and nightclubs, meaning individual businesses can receive between $1,200 and $100,000 in emergency relief until September. In the U.S., it's still unclear if federal financial support will be approved in time, and as the pandemic continues, that pressure rides on top of the uncertainty of when venues can reopen at all.
I think every musician at this point has sort of had the thoughts of like, will I ever play a show again?
There is no end in sight currently. So these call to actions are very important for our patrons and our venues and our artists.
Casey Mendoza, Newsy, Chicago.